Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner, and I'm just writing in the name of a deck. Let's see, okay, because we're doing something different, something I don't normally do. I'm playing the same deck again, and relatively soon afterwards, because I made this discard or lose deck. And we only went up against black, basically. No matter, there were other colors sometimes, right? It could be like green and black, or white and black, or mono black. But black was always there. And I got a little irritated that, you know, it was a depressing sameness of cards. So I added in. I removed one card. I removed one copy of Reckoner's Bargain, so there's only 3 in the deck. And I added in 3 other cards. One of which was Sword of Once and Future, that gives us protection from blue and black. So we're going to have fun with that card. Because funny thing happened, as soon as I added that card, I started facing blue and red-blue, is it color, last night. And I thought that was amusing, because I hadn't run into any blue the entire time before. But evidently, even though this is protection from blue, they figured maybe the red would be a good color to go against it. But it was just interesting how I was shoved into another area, you know, pretty much instantly. Like it closed one door and opened up another queue. Alright, so we can equip this for 2. And if we ever get instants or sorceries into our graveyard, that are the cheap ones, we can cast them. Alright. That's a blocker now. They might want to just trade off, but this counts. It's a black artifact vehicle, but it's got black in the summoning cost, so it still counts as a black card. So they could attack, but we've got protection from damage. I can block them. They can't deal damage to it, so they could get by with the Shieldred's Edict like I have. This is the second new card that I put in, Cruelty of Gix. Mostly so I could have a tutor function, so I could search my library for a card. As I just got playing the pre-made alchemy deck, the High Flying Valor, and I'd whiff a lot, even though I got to look at the top 4 cards for a creature card, and I think I whiffed roughly as many times as I hit something. Which is not actually as exciting as the Wizards people think it is. And of course, since I started recording, they have to rope me. Maybe they just don't know how to handle this since it's got protection from black. If they don't have something like Shieldred's Edict that makes me sacrifice something, they might be in trouble. And some people, they just start pitching a fit and they refuse to play with the toys anymore when that happens. Alright, let's go ahead and see what's in their hand. Did they just get up and walk away? They are down to 2 lands. Maybe they were just land starved. But you only need 2 to play Shieldred's Edict. Most people, if they're getting land starved, they scoop. They don't sit there and rope. Why do I get all the rude ones when I'm trying to tape? Okay, so yet again, Wizards of the Coast, we beseech you, give us a YouTube format where there's 1 fewer rope allowed so that we can get through this faster when people are going to be rude. Sound fair? Okay, let's get rid of... Guess we'll get rid of the ninjutsu nonsense. Now we've got information on what they got. The Disfigure's not going to help them. Thran Vigil might if they get that going with the Cult Conscript and keep bringing that back. Or the Clay Revenant. So it looks like they're just mostly relying on a bunch of small, cheap creatures to peck you to death. And sacrificing those creatures to pump up the Soul Ripper. But it's not gonna work. So they did have, let's see, they could have cast the Thran Vigil, right? They've got a swamp right there. I think they just walked away. They could have brought down the Inkrise Infiltrator. They've got a very small cost deck. It's possible they don't even have 24 lands with stuff like that. Yeah, okay. So they give us that, and we win. Just one Color Hoser card. You get it early. So the experiment that I want to run tonight is, do you keep putting this deck up against mono black because that's what you did the night I created it? Or since I've changed the cards, last night I trotted it out for a couple of decks and I didn't face black. I placed mono blue and red and blue. So what are you going to do? How is Arena going to react? Okay, still black, blue and black. Arena gave me the most expensive card in my deck again. If they have 2 discard spells, nope, they get rid of the most expensive one. Okay. Let's just land. Do you have a second discard spell? No, you do not. You're losing 2 or you're spending a counter spell to save 1. Okay. So they have counter spells. So discard, counter spell. Do you have a poison deck? Search spell next? No. Ah. Let's go ahead and exile something from your graveyard. That'll at least give me a zombie token on the board. And you countered it, which is fine because that has flashback, so I get it out of my hand. You were going to take away the Sheoldred's Edict probably anyway. Alright? Okay, you're kind of tapped out, so now we get both the Hobbling Zombie and the Raven Man. And your discard strategy is over because I'm not holding anything. So any of your discard spells... Oh, Siphon Insight next. So not enough to take from my hand, now you're taking from my library. We had to put up with this before. Here, why don't you discard the card that's in your hand? One of the two. Oh, they negate that. They're using up a lot of counter spells. That's 2 negates and 1 bring the ending. Let's attack with the zombie. And then we make them discard the remaining card. And we get a Raven. They had another negate. 3 negates. It's a poison deck. It's a poison deck. Everyone attack. Everybody gets in the pool. You're not going to get 10 poison counters on us. We're going to be a little too fast for you. Yep, they knew it. They knew it. Okay, so still the black color, but at least it wasn't mono black. How long does it take? How many games before Arena kicks in after examining how the games go and make adjustments to make sure that I don't keep winning? They tried discard and counter spells. That didn't work. We go first. Awesome. Very pleasant person. Badmort says hello. We say hello. We get creatures out that generate creatures. More goodness. It's not mono black. A corner has been turned. It still kind of looks like it's the evil side of the plains, doesn't it? It looks like it's been... Okay, blue and white. Ugh. Do we like that thing to stay around? They're tapped out. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. Just because they could sacrifice and gain 3 life, and I wanted to react while they were still tapped out on that one. I do think the ginger is cute. Don't let my wife hear me say that. Okay, so yeah, they get out something that's just as bad. And we kind of can't attack anymore. But we can bring out this. And we have enough mana, we can get rid of the 2/2 with Decayed and turn it into a 3/3 that hangs around. And then we automatically get another replacement that we can sacrifice next turn. And so our wizard altar, wizard sacrificing creatures at the altar engine has started. Realmbreaker. Interesting. Oh, they got rid of my sword already. That has protection from blue. Okay, so a little bit of milling, eh? Okay, so if I just do this, let's get rid of their creature with the highest power. We'll get +2 to this puppy and give it lifelink. And we'll just attack with those 2. We'll get a replacement zombie. And we're over 20 for life points. And our opponent appreciates our strategy. Can you do anything besides mill my deck? Urza! It's a Planeswalker deck. They want to get out the Planeswalker. So they're going to get plenty of lands. There goes one of my painful quandaries. Those things are cheap. How about... Let's bring down the Raven Man. We can't tap it to make you discard yet, so let's just get rid of this. We won't gain any life, but we'll get to draw 2 cards. Bingo, painful quandary. We attack with you. They chump block. Excellent. They don't want to get down to 6 life. That's a little bit too low. Now, as long as... Let's see. They have to pay 7, so they need to get the Might Stone and Weak Stone now this turn. And then get us next turn. They can get a swamp out, right? Do you have it? Because what? Oh, exile. Okay. Everybody exiles. Everybody out of the pool. Okay, that's fine, because now we got that in place. Now, technically, they could just beat us over the head with a 5/5, right? And not cast another single spell. They still have enough? Oh good, we got something there. We can use that. We can use that now. More land? Oh, you should have kept that for discard. That was a mistake. Let's get rid of Sir Ginger. Let's get rid of your 2 cards. We'll give this a Wicked token. Maybe I should have sacrificed it ahead of time. Let's see. We could sacrifice that now and go get something. No. Let's just hit him for 3, and then sacrifice that at the end of combat. They lose 1 more point due to the Wicked. They can use this to draw a card. Oh, they're going to get Praetors. They have enough land. Okay, so Arena found a way to get around. This is a Painful Quandary deck. The whole point is to get this out so they can't cast spells. So Arena put me up against somebody who had a strategy of doing this. And I need 2 instants. Do we dare find out what's in their hand? Can we just put a creature? Is there any creature that will really help us that's in the graveyard? No, because they exiled everything, right? Yeah, they used Sunfile to exile. So this is all that's left. I guess we start with the first chapter. I think we're dead. I think Arena found exactly what it needed. Okay, so we make them get rid of that. And then they just swing in and hit us for 15? That was it. Realmbreaker was the key. That's another one of our kryptonites. Just bring out the Praetors that way. It only took to the 3rd game. Let's continue on. I always think it's interesting when Arena decides that it's time for me to lose, they give me lots of the Painful Quandaries, or they let me put a Painful Quandary out just when it's too late to do any good. Just when it's like, oh, the spell that you made your entire deck focused around, it's going to do you absolutely no good. Here, have a copy. Here, have a second copy. Have fun casting it, or have fun not having enough land to cast it. We'll give you your precious spell, the one you made your deck around, all that you want. And the wizard spies cackle gleefully together in their little break room. Raven Man. Okay, no black, just white and blue again. So we just we're learning to be afraid of Realmbreaker, is that it? And counterspells. Okay, so let's start with something easy. Discard. It's only 1 card. Do you waste a counterspell on it? Oh wow, we're making them think already. Tough choices. Now they have to figure out what to actually discard. I don't think that they have it, but they could have a Flash Soldier spell, so I'm not going to attack with Raven Man. All that thought just to go ahead and throw away a land. Alright, we do get a 1/1 creature. Ah, a flash soldier, so that we're up against a soldier deck? Is that what's going on? Say hello to my little sword friend. That can't block anyway, so there's no reason not to attack with it. I mean, to trade off against a 2/1 is great, otherwise we're going to bring down the Transmogrant Altar and turn it into a 3/3. I don't want to miss a land drop. Gross. That'll get them a 4/4 flying with Vigilance Angel. We don't like that. Let's make you discard. Yeah, my sword is not protecting me against white angels. And now I can't really get through with the 2/2, can I? How do I want to do this? I didn't get the land I wanted. And if I make them, if I use Sheoldred's Edict, they're just going to lose a Sentinel. Get rid of another resource in your hand. A Frostbridge Guard, okay. Get another one. And this one can bring the mana value 3 or less back, so I really need a way to get rid of this one. Which means... actually, Serra Redeemer is more power. I think I'm in trouble. They got too wide too fast. Sheoldred's Edict is worthless to me right now. My card draw didn't get me anything good. And they've got... the soldier deck was fast enough. Look at that. They got an army out in one turn. If I don't have the board wipe, I'm completely devastated. I mean, there's still too many that they're above power 2, as it is. And all I got was a tap land. They didn't attack at all? What's going on? This card is worthless to me now. I guess we scry? 2 extra lands. Way to flood me out, Magic. So that's what's left for me to do. Okay, all flying soldier deck. Check. Another way to completely devastate me. 2 different decks in a row. Neither of them mono black or a combination of black. And that's an impressive amount of damage. That's embarrassing. Thank you, Arena. This is kind of what I expected. And the first night, and we can prove this because y'all can go back to the tape because I published the video, there was black all over the place that we were facing. I changed out 3 cards, and really I removed 1 and I added 3, and one of which has protection from black, and it totally changes the equation. And suddenly, instead of facing all black decks, more discard decks, sacrifice decks, Shieldreds all over the place, instead, we're facing other colors. Now I'm starting to get curb stomped, but, you know, at least there's a little variety for a change. There was none of this the other night. And my sword has protection from blue too, but they don't blink. Arena doesn't blink, it putting me up against blue creatures. Well, look at how fast they're getting to go. If I do a spell, they get to connive. They're not missing a land drop. Do you have a counterspell? They have removal. Let's make them activate their 3/3. And then maybe they'll activate their 2/2 after this. Take a hit for that. Okay, they tapped out. Gix's command. Try and do as much of a board wipe as we can. Still have to worry about the incubation tokens. They could bring these back into their hand, right? Oh, they're going to throw Painful Quandary back up into my hand. Okay. That's more worthwhile to them. Can we stay alive? We know they have removal. We know they have air power. We're pretty much tapped out. We've done what we can. They do have some black, though. Leer. Okay. We block the 3/3 there. We block you there. Shieldred's Edict. Sacrifice a non-token creature. Spells can't be countered. Let's see. How about... get rid of 2 cards, and we'll put a Wicked Roll on our non-decaying zombie. They have a Hullbreaker Horror in their own Gix's command, and that's what they were willing to throw away. They could have kind of gotten a clear shot with Gix's command, couldn't they? Oh, they hit the wrong thing. They wanted to make me sacrifice a creature token. They must have hit non-token creature. There we go. Sacrifice a creature token. That gets rid of the decayed one. You're tapped out. Do we do it that way? Yeah, let's make you discard what you got. That was yet another quick study card. We bring out Jadar. No attacks. Now they have a flyer. Not good. Not good. I need a removal. That's 1 point. Ah, there we go. Sacrifice your flyer. Let's bring down another Painful Quandary. It's a little bit closer than I'd like, but I'm starting to feel hopeful. Fading Hope. Sacrifice the decayed one. Make it a 3/3. You need at least 3 cards in your hand to cast a spell without dying. What else can we get? Reckoner's Bargain. That seems risky to use right this second. Out of all the cards that I could possibly get, other than just flooding out with land. No! Did you forget? Oh, that was close. They misplayed earlier. They misplayed the Shieldred's Edict. I think I was meant to lose that one. I think Arena wanted me to lose that one. They gave them the removal they needed at the time. Maybe they were playing too fast. Okay, we'll do one more. Poison deck. And look at how fast they're going to get stuff down. Get rid of something, please. I like my hand, actually. I feel like we're okay against these odds. I keep looking at your artifacts. Rib skiff. And you don't play anything, eh? Good. We just need to get to 5 lands. Well, 6, technically. Alright, we will set up with our altar. We don't mind attacking, because if we die, we get a 2/2 out of it, right? So even if they flash something in, we're good. Do we do this now? No, that would just add some energy at this point, which is fine if we get a painful quandary. That means with 4 lands we could still cast painful quandary just by sacrificing the dissenter to the altar. They're not in any rush. They're also having trouble with land. There you go. That fixed things. The one artifact becomes blah 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 as long as it remains on the battlefield. Sacrifice a non-token creature. Do you lose your injector or do you lose your retrofitter? You lose the injector. Okay. So only one of those to worry about. Let's do this. We'll get our 2/2. We'll draw some cards. My turn. Kind of flooding out with lands. Let's go ahead and have you get rid of your creature there. We attack. We turn you from a 2/2 into a 3/3. That is untapped. Zealot! I did mention I liked my hand, right? Stun counters, okay. I don't think they realize what I can do. That's not going to give them 3 turns. This is going to give them 1 turn. Run. This was the 3rd card that I added to the deck. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control die, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. We're going to sacrifice this creature and still get a 3/3. Activate this trigger. Gain some life, make them lose their life, and we get an untapped 3/3 creature. Life is good. Let's go draw something. I like that. I can go get a Doomed Center back too. Sweet. Attach the prosthetic injector, yes. Makes you a 1/3. Not a problem. We're going to make the 3/3 get a wicked counter on it. And you're going to lose some ammo. Come on. You get to keep 1 out of 3. What do you lose? So, impede momentum, that should be useless. That shouldn't have been a tough choice. Target creature gets +1, +3, and gains flying. I feel like we're not going to bargain this. Oh, actually, let's get rid of the Wicked Roll. That'll cost them 1 more life point. And then I can get my choice out of the next 4 cards. I really have a hard time making a choice here. Make sure the order that I want is correct for drawing the flooded out of swamps. Yes, that was lovely. And now we attack. We don't care if they want to give us poison counters, right? Oh, hello, they kept the other one. Okay. So now they survive and they get rid of the creature. And another creature dies. This only happens once a turn, so there we go. They're down to 6. And then we've got Gix's command. Kind of nice there. Come on through, we don't care. Put some counters on, destroy each creature with 2 or less. Put the counters on you. This goes back to being an artifact. This goes back to being an attack. Exile. We don't care what it is. We sacrifice it. Turn it from a 2/2 with decay into a 3/3 and do the final 2 points of damage. Alright, so we won 4 and lost 2. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to be 3-3. I think it was just that the last opponent before this one misplayed. Over a Dreaming Duelist. I think I have 1 of her, so this makes the second one. I'm getting close, I think, to being able to do a Fairy Tribal deck, possibly. So I think tonight's demonstration was more for the newer players so that you can learn how Arena works and understand. I made this deck not too long ago, just a couple of nights ago, and already published a video on it. And the things that I changed was I had 4 Reckoner's Bargains, and since I only have 8 permanent creatures in here, and the rest are like tokens that are generated from those creatures and so forth, I was getting too many of these. They were kind of dead cards. So I went from 4 to 3. And I dared to go up to 62 cards because my mana cost average is below 3. And I added in the creature we just saw finally, which I wanted to make sure we got to. Vran, Executioner Thane, who works really well with this deck because I have so many token sacrifice triggers that I can enable here. I got in Cruelty of Gix so that I could go search for a particular card that I needed. And I got Sword of Once and Future, which gave me protection from blue and black. That change of those 3 cards, it didn't keep me from coming across black and blue entirely, but we got a much greater variety rather than just facing combinations of mono black and black plus another color, like we did in the first video. So just making a couple of tweaks to your deck if you don't like what you're coming up against, okay? If you want to get a little more variety in your gameplay, if you're noticing that Arena's only throwing you one thing at you over and over again, and it's getting boring, just go ahead and tweak your deck a tiny bit. Find a color hoser, pull up a card that can't be countered or a card that
If they make you discard it, it comes right onto the battlefield. Something that really upsets the balance of what your deck initially was and changes the story. And once you do that, Arena adjusts. They've got, it's actually not humans. I like to make a joke about that there's a team of wizards who spies on me and changes things real time and adds cards to my opponent's decks that they don't even have in order to defeat me. But that's not what happens. This is a program. They've got, I don't know if you really want to call it artificial intelligence. Possibly it falls under that category. They've got something that learns as you play. And it will adjust until it finds something that can beat you. It wants you to experience the rock, paper, scissors aspect of the game. Partly it's because they want the lesser skilled players to have a chance to actually win, rather than just be it like playing chess where no matter what happens, the person with the greater level of skill just constantly kicks your butt. Now, this is, if you're like me, you grew up playing chess that way, you're used to getting your butt kicked until you learn how to play better. And so going through that gauntlet of fire is not a problem. That's how I learned. For some reason, Wizards of the Coast has a different philosophy, because chess is a game of mostly skill and memorization and pattern recognition, that kind of thing. Whereas this, they want this to be more fun. They don't want it to be, they don't mind you thinking about things. They like that you can exercise your brain to discover these combinations and things like that. But they don't want it to be like chess in the sense that it's just pure skill. They want the newcomers to stay with the game. They want them to experience the thrill of victory. And you can't do that necessarily if you play fair, right? If the more experienced players, which litter Arena, there's tons of experienced players on Arena now, then maybe the newbies would just get discouraged because they're like, oh, I lost like 17 times in a row. I'm not going to play this stupid game anymore. But I would argue that they have gone a little too far in trying to do that 50% ratio. But, I think that's just my opinion. And probably that of most of the content creators on YouTube from when I was watching during the COVID lockdown. But that's what happens. So just know that Arena is not on your side if you tend to start winning too much. But it is for the newer players that they want you to have fun with the cards. They want you to experience the thrill of victory and not just get defeated time and time again by a bunch of experienced players. And maybe the learning algorithm has gone a little overboard by trying to put too much kryptonite in your way too many times in one evening. But that is what tends to happen. And it's fun to go ahead and tweak the decks every now and then, just to try and keep the learning, whatever learning machine that they have behind the scenes on its toes, and say, okay, you've got my number right now. You know that you can put me up against Realmbreaker, and Realmbreaker can bring out the Praetors without summoning them as a spell, and that gets around the whole point of what my deck is set up to do with Painful Quandary. So once it knows that, it's not going to put me up against 10 Realmbreaker decks in a row, but it is going to look for similar type things to also put me up against. And so, if you got any questions, leave a question. If you're new, remember to subscribe. We like to have everybody like and subscribe as much as possible. And this is Travis signing off from Tpull's Corner. We'll have something new for you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.